You want to know the best copywriting template in the world? It's called Murphy's Law. And a lot of people, they get pulled back, they get held back, they just don't take action because they're worried about all kinds of things going wrong. But the reality is that things going wrong makes you more copy, better copy, stories to tell, the stuff of legend. So if you're being held back in your business adventure, then this video is for you with some solutions, some tips, some ideas about how to turn Murphy's Law into the best information product and marketing asset that you have. Hey there, this is Anthony Metivier from brandingyou.academy, where we help people with products that teach others to live better lives, how to connect everything they're doing on the internet so that they have traffic coming in from multiple sources, building their list, and being able to really hit the ground running when you're developing an online business and what we like to think of as an online empire. And this is with my friend and partner Jonathan Levy from Superlearner. I'm from Magnetic Memory Method, and together brandingyou.academy is our way of showing you how we've done what we did and how we continue to grow those empires. And so if you're new here, get started now by hitting the thumbs up and subscribing if you're not already subscribing. And here's the genesis of this email. In Branding You Academy, we have a forum, and Steve, who's very active in our discussions, was talking about Murphy's Law in response to a video another member, Jonathan, made where there's like traffic noise in the background while he is making a video. And he sort of had this traffic noise as an interesting starter in his video and made a comment about how there's always traffic noise, and then he got into the content of his video. And then Steve was talking about how that, you know, he no matter what, it could be 3 a.m. and he's out on the street and everything's quiet and he's about to make some content, and then the next thing you know, a security alarm is going off or something in the background is going off. And that's something that just happens with video. Now, I've done hundreds of hours of video, if not thousands of hours, and definitely thousands of hours of audio and so forth. And it's true. There's interruptions that you cannot anticipate. There's all kinds of stuff to this day, even though I live in a really great place with a nice little home studio and so forth. Still, I cannot anticipate when one of our neighbors is going to open the door and bang it closed, and then, when the elevator is going to come and say, doors closing, which is barely perceptible, but it interrupts me, right? But the reality is that that's just a great piece of content. It's a story at some point, right? Just like telling you about Steve and Jonathan is a story, and how Jonathan went out and the bells were going, or whatever's going in the traffic with his video, and then a story that I'm telling you now about how that the elevator goes off, or my neighbors are particularly rude with how they slam their doors, right? So these things going wrong actually are content, and the challenge for you is to think about how you can just turn everyday life, things going wrong, into new content. Today, this little bugger on my computer went crazy and died. I'd just gotten back from a meeting with Jenny and Nick, who were working on a new initiative now. Hi, Jenny and Nick. And I get home, I'm ready to roar, put out some stuff, make a video like this, and then I have to go to the Mac store, because tomorrow I'm going to Sydney to meet Dean Jackson. And, it's just... what the heck? But I had to go and do it. And so now that can be turned into content. And maybe it could be mindset content, because I could have freaked out. I could have thought that the world was against me. Why, when I only have such limited time, is this happening now? And I could have been down on myself. I could have yada. But instead, I just thought, well, here's an hour to go and practice some Sanskrit recitation, chill out, see the city, get a new thing. I should have gotten it earlier anyway, because it was all frayed. The Apple store actually took it from me. They said that we can't even let you leave the store with this, because this is such a danger, and so on. And also I had planned to shoot all kinds of video in advance, because I'm going to be away and so forth, and it was raining and so forth. Well, I just pulled out the iPhone instead of taking this camera, and I made some video footage, regardless of whether it's going to be useful or not. I mean, there's rain coming down and so forth. Then a train was going by. I at least made the content, right? And then later I can tell stories about it like I'm telling it right now, which is the creation of content. So Murphy's Law technically doesn't exist. Now, if you have this fear of all these things going wrong and you need things to be perfect before you go out and create content and so forth, I challenge you to really think about about how you could just go out and think in advance of how you can make content anyway from the adventure of going out. So you could shoot some B-roll footage instead. You could, just see what it sounds like with the traffic noise. Maybe it's not nearly as bad as you think. And ultimately, you never really know what it's going to look like anyway until you put it out there in the world. So I released a video, the last video on this channel, and I looked at it and I was like, oh man, the wind really did make my hair look stupid, and so forth. But when you're developing content for a business and growing it, you've got to push out content. You've got to create more and more and more. And if you really pause and worry and get so caught up in all the finicky details, you'll never get anywhere. So, you just keep creating and creating and creating. And it's going to be a wonderful thing because you learn so much by seeing it outside of your perspective. And then you think differently as you go out again and again and again. And ultimately, the reason why you want to do this is because you're going to create critical mass. And the more content you have, the more it's going to be a driver for more content. As you see yourself, you get more ideas, and you'll just be exploding and booming with ideas and creating new things. And ultimately, what ends up happening is that you hit what I like to think of as cruising altitude in business, where no matter what, things are just operating without you, and you're doing things out of joy, out of love. You're following this content creation just simply because you want to, and then maybe you take on a second initiative or a third initiative or whatever the case may be. And so this is my second initiative. Earlier today, I was meeting with Nick and Jenny for the third initiative, and it's a long-term project. We're trying to figure out what is the way to reduce it to the least possible amount of moving parts, so that we all can bring our best game and not get caught in the details and so forth, and create content around it and really just test something simply to see if we're all on the same page and if we really like it and if the local audience responds and so forth. And you just got to move forward. You've just got to go and go and go. And so what ends up happening is if you just wait for perfect, and you worry about what could go wrong instead of going out and actually doing your best to make something go wrong, then you never get anywhere. So you've got to break eggs when you're baking a cake. You've got to create lots and lots of content just so that you're able to see things from an outside perspective. Or if it's not a content creation related project, like my third initiative that I just mentioned with Nick and Jenny, then you've got to just kind of put the pieces together and see what happens. Make the offer. Try a few things. This is about having a local event with local entrepreneurs. And we don't know, as far as we know, this particular initiative hasn't been tested here before. And there's a lot that can go wrong, but you better believe that I'll have an eye on how to turn it into content. Not only content for Branding You Academy videos that we might make, but maybe for my magnetic memory method business as well, and maybe for that business in and of itself. And we'll learn so much simply because we're willing to kind of let go of the outcome and let Murphy's Law do its thing, because Murphy's Law has no hold over us. And the more that you grow your business, the more that you get that cruising altitude, everything is really just, dips and turbulence and all this sort of stuff. But you know how to get above the clouds, and you know how to stay above the clouds. And so then you just start making more and more content about being above the clouds and helping others, and let go of the outcome of that too. Karma yoga, it's a very important concept. Just take action and let the outcomes go, let the reaction go. And it's kind of just being a little bit, maybe not indifferent to it. You want to pay attention to it. You want to observe what's going on, but you don't want to get caught up on it. You don't want to need the outcome to be this, that, or the other way. You just want to observe it scientifically and say, oh, that worked, let's do more of that. Or that didn't work, let's do something else, and not be emotionally tied to it. So Murphy's Law, do your worst, and maybe it will. I don't know. I mean, one of the things you could end up developing is a bit of paranoid character and think, oh, even by saying what I'm saying right now in this video may be causing something in the universe to respond and make something really bad happen. But that's what happens in Hollywood. The character who wakes up and he missed the alarm, so he's already late for work, and then he, spills coffee on his shirt that he buys on the way to work, and then as he's getting in the car doesn't start, and then he has to take the bus, and then the bus splashes him, and then by the time that he gets to work, his boss says, you're late for the 15th time, and you're not appropriately dressed, so you're fired. And then that's when the aliens attack and destroy the family home and the rest of the block that he lived in, right? That's not going to happen. Just go out, make content for people, and ask them to hit like and subscribe if they're not already subscribed, just like I'm asking you right now. So I hope this helped you out. If any of these are issues that you're facing, and now you have a better sense of how to really have life itself be the ultimate sales copy template, and so then you can just go out and write endlessly, create content endlessly, using the stuff of reality itself endlessly without worry or concern, and in a way that grows your business. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Come visit us at brandingyou.academy if you're not already hooked up over there. And until we have a chance to speak again, keep on building that online empire.